Hello, everyone. Welcome to Energy Safety Canada and Petro LMI's Grade 9 Virtual Safety Fair. My name is Arnold Betzma, and I'm the Program Manager here at Energy Safety Canada in Weyburn, Saskatchewan. We thank you for joining us here today and taking the time to spend here. We know that choosing a career is very critical and very important, and we want you to take the time to take in this information and help it to make you decide what your career may be, because planning for the future is extremely important. We'll get right into the videos right away here. We have a great video that kind of shows what Energy Safety Canada is about and what our purpose is.
One by one, we come to get the job done. One day at a time, one job at a time. One way to do things right, where we look out for each other and we rely on one another, where each one's knowledge, skill, and steady hand is essential to us all. We're part of a bigger picture now, industry that has come of age and is coming together. We've learned a thing or two along the way. Do it right. Stand up. Speak out. Work together. Be the best. Make sure at the end of the day, everyone goes home safe and sound. There's always more to know, more to learn. But now we have one voice to speak to us and for us. A voice to standardize and simplify and do what it takes to improve safety performance. Build on the lessons learned in the past and grasp the opportunities of the future. Capture real-time data and analytics. Adapt and evolve as we go. To sweat the details and train us up for any job in every environment, on any site. Find the best and safest solutions together. One voice to lead the way on safety performance. Because one incident, one injury, one fatality is one too many. Energy Safety Canada. One voice for safety.
When we look at Energy Safety Canada, you can see what our purpose is through the video. And again, our purpose is a national safety association that drives the Canadian oil and gas industry to achieve zero worker injuries or incidents. We have a vision that is globally respected, and we have a mission that we drive safe work performance through data analysis, driving safety standardization, effective learning, supporting workers and the employers, and advocating for health and safety. Our values are trusted, responsive, collaborative, proactive, and disciplined. When we look at the impact that we have on the industry, we have 5 different locations in Western Canada and over 40 courses that can be offered either through the classroom, online, or on site, depending on what your needs are. Some of our training takes place at our locations, but we also have 250 authorized training providers that are distributed around most of Canada. And there are over 500,000 certificates that are active and being utilized in the field of the oil and gas industry today. Speaking about our locations, we have a location in Fort St. John, BC, which serves the province of BC, in Fort McMurray, which is catering to the oil sands, in Nisku, which is a training facility up there, and then in Calgary, which is our head office where the majority of our employees work, and most of the programs are developed in Calgary, and in Weyburn, where we are, when we service the province of Saskatchewan. We provide industry support, and we have a staff of 4 people here. Why are we in Weyburn and who we are? Well, our regional office is in Weyburn because it is in the heart of the oil field. Predominantly, the oil field has been most active here since the mid-1950s, but the oil field has expanded in this province into Swift Current, in Kindersley, and Lloydminster, and there's lots of opportunities throughout the province, depending on where you live. There's lots of things that are being developed as well, as far as geothermal power and helium drilling as well. So we are in partnership with WorkSafe Saskatchewan, which is in partnership with the WC. We also work with the other safety associations in construction and manufacturing and health and retail sales and things like that. So again, our work and our goal is mission zero throughout the province. So the outline of our presentation, what we want to show you today and share with you today, it consists of the sources of energy for today and the future, the overview of the industry that we support, Canada's role in clean energy technologies and where we're going in the future, the role of Energy Safety Canada as a safety association for the energy sector, and the careers that are available in the energy sector. And we'll get into that in a little more detail later in the presentation. So putting a shout out to Petro LMI, they are the ones that have developed the majority of the videos that we have in our presentation today. And we just want to give a shout out to them. And they are a division of Energy Safety Canada. And Cheryl, who is currently in the meeting here with me, but she'll be speaking later in the meeting as well too, will give you some more insight on some of the things that they are working on. So when we look at what does the oil and gas industry mean to Canada, well, we are the 5th largest producer of natural gas in the world. We're the 6th largest producer of crude oil. We also have extensive reserves that are untapped in this country as well. Over 548,000 direct and indirect jobs were utilized in 2018, and on the last several years, over $10 billion in revenue has gone to the government. That is tax dollars that have gone to the government to help pay for hospitals and schools and road repairs and whatever else that we need as far as where the tax revenues are distributed. So let's get into the fossil fuels. I'm going to go through the quick process of the 7 steps of what it takes to find it. So first we start with exploration, we find it, then we go to the drilling, we access it, the production to remove it, the processing to prepare it, the transportation to move it, and refining it to transform it. And then we sell it, and then you get your gas at the gas station when you go fill up your vehicle, or it might be for heating fuel to heat your home. The following video here that we're going to share shares you a little bit more detail about how those fossil fuels are made and where they come from. So just sit back and enjoy.
Fossil fuels. Fossil fuel is a term used to describe a group of energy sources that were formed from ancient plants and organisms during the Carboniferous period approximately 360 to 286 million years ago. Even before the age of dinosaurs. At that time, the land was covered with swamps filled with organisms and plants. As they died, they sank to the bottom of swamps and oceans, and over millions of years started decomposing under layers of sand, clay, and other minerals. Different types of fossil fuels formed depending on the combination of organic matter, temperature, time, and pressure conditions while decomposing. There are 3 major types of fossil fuels: coal, oil, and natural gas. Coal was formed from ferns, plants, and trees, which hardened due to pressure and heat. Oil was formed from small organisms like zooplankton and algae, where pressure caused the more complex organic matter to decompose. Natural gas was formed by the same process as oil, only it was exposed to more heat and pressure, causing it to further decompose and turn into a gaseous form. Fossil fuels are sought-after energy sources because they have a high energy density. They are the world's dominant energy source. Fossil fuels have a variety of applications from electricity production to transport fuels. They can also be used to make a variety of common products, from plastics to cosmetics to even some medicines. These resources have powered industrialization over history and continue to do so today. Fossil fuels can be an abundant and cheap, or in some cases, a scarce and expensive form of energy, depending on geographic location. For this reason, geopolitical issues arise due to scarcity caused by the natural geographic allocation of these highly valuable resources. Fossil fuels are considered non-renewable resources because they take millions of years to form, which means that once they are used, the resources will not be replenished in a human lifetime. The gradual depletion of the most accessible fossil fuel reserves have forced companies to develop technologies for extracting more challenging or unconventional reserves. In many cases, this means additional safety and environmental concerns as well as higher costs. Fossil fuels are also the largest emitters of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas which causes climate change. In addition, their production causes both environmental and human health issues. These concerns have triggered society to look at alternate sources of energy that are more environmentally sustainable and renewable. That's fossil fuels.
So that gives you a better outline of what's happening as far as what fossil fuels contribute to our energy generation. And again, we want to look at another video
Fossil
here
fuels.
shortly that shows about what we need to do with the energy, whatever type of form that might be. And again, we used many different types of energy and how we power our homes and everything else. So I'll let you watch this video as well.
Energy. We all need it.
To light and heat our homes.
To cook our food.
To keep our food cold.
Power our cities. Transport goods.
To make all the goods we're transporting.
To go to work. To go on vacation.
To develop the next big thing.
Heck, you're using it right now watching this video on your laptop or smartphone or smart TV. Maybe all three at the same time because you're weird like that.
If you are, it helps prove a point.
The world's population is growing. People are moving from the country into cities, entering the middle class, starting to live more like you and me.
Hopefully these up-and-coming consumers learn from our mistakes. But we can't ask them to not buy a washing machine and keep scrubbing their undies by hand, just to slow down rising energy needs as we enjoy the second screen experience in our air-conditioned condo with floor-to-ceiling windows.
The IEA says world energy consumption will increase by 31% by 2040.
Where are we going to get all that energy?
Well, it comes in many forms and each has its pros and cons. We started off with wood, animal fats, and dried poop. And these are still relied on in many places around the world. Yes, even poop.
Then somewhere along the way, we discovered the fossil fuel trio: coal, oil, and natural gas.
Developing ways to take advantage of coal's high-intensity energy accelerated the Industrial Revolution, which led to civilization as we know it. But coal has the highest carbon emissions of all fossil fuels, so has been declining in popularity for power generation.
Unlike other energy resources, crude oil and natural gas are used for much more than simply fuels and electricity generation. And today, their byproducts are used to make pretty much everything around you. Originally, oil was mainly refined to produce kerosene, an energy source for lighting and heating.
And now a primary ingredient in liquid rocket fuel.
Bringing this discussion back down to earth, the burning of oil-derived fuels is a primary source of GHG emissions, and production displaces flora and fauna. Natural gas is a versatile and widely used energy source. It is the cleanest burning of the fossil fuels and has a smaller production footprint. However, the fracking process used to recover natural gas trapped in rock deep underground requires large quantities of water.
Speaking of water, harnessing hydro turned deserts into fields and led to zero emissions electricity generation. But dammed rivers create reservoirs that consume forests and other vegetation, which release GHG emissions of their own while permanently displacing people and wildlife.
Nuclear promised clean energy, but because original reactor technology was designed to produce weapons-grade plutonium as a byproduct to offset high construction costs, it's not as fail-safe as it could have been.
So that takes us to renewable energy. Here we're usually talking about solar and wind, but these green solutions are not without their own unintended consequences.
Like the large areas of land required to produce enough energy, which then displaces and alters surrounding ecosystems, killing birds and bats, and the water required to clean solar panels.
Oh wait, we almost forgot fusion. On the brink of success since, 1982. But that's a whole other story.
Canada's pretty lucky when it comes to energy. We produce a lot of it across all the types mentioned, plus a few more. Combined, we have more than any other country in the world. So we're set, right?
Wrong.
Just like our population, Canada's amazing energy resources are not split evenly across provinces and territories.
And the places where energy sources are most abundant are not the same places with the most demand. To diversify energy sources and be more self-sufficient regionally, everyone is working to increase their use of renewable energy, including wind, solar, biomass, and geothermal.
These renewables are the logical way to grow low-carbon emitting energy, and the production technologies are advancing. But they aren't keeping up with the demand in the same steady way as hydro and fossil fuels, nor can they power and produce everything we need them to. So expect to see all forms of energy in the mix for the foreseeable future.
Now, how do we get all that energy to where it is needed all around the world?
Well, we can't. At least not yet. Think of energy transmission like a railroad. Tracks allow trains to move goods across the country, but when the railway ends, we have to find other forms of transportation to get them to the next destination.
Just like we don't have train tracks crossing oceans, we currently don't have a way to transport electricity overseas. So, unless connected to a shared electrical grid, when we're talking about trading energy, we're talking about fossil fuels plus a bit of uranium.
Since oil is still the primary energy source bought and sold around the world, let's look at where it comes from.
Globally, the top 10 oil reserves are Venezuela,
Saudi Arabia,
Canada,
Iran,
Iraq,
Kuwait,
Russia,
United Arab Emirates,
Libya,
Nigeria.
and the United States.
But just like there are pros and cons to the different kinds of energy, there are pros and cons to where it comes from. Once we rule out dictators, self-serving royals, pirates, bullies, warring nations, human rights violators, regulatory shortfalls, and protectionist policies.
Canada is politically stable, has some of the strictest environmental regulations and most responsible producers in the world, and is a leader in industry innovation.
Before we get too carried away about Canada's polite energy saving the world, let's take a look at ourselves in the mirror. Although Canada produces a lot of energy, we're good at getting it from here to here, but we're not so good at getting it from here to here. So we buy it from a lot of other places.
Like here, here, and here. Here, and here.
That last trade relationship gets a little convoluted, since the United States is currently the only customer we have for our primary energy exports. And since the recent viability of shale oil and shale natural gas reserves, our single buyer is now a seller.
To Canada.
So we need more than one customer.
What about Canada?
How can we sell to ourselves?
Instead of buying oil and natural gas from other people, about $13.9 billion worth every year, wouldn't it be better to use our own and then sell what we don't need to growing countries like China and India?
Of course it would.
And yes, it's not as easy as simply throwing an ad up on eBay and shipping it overseas by Canada Post.
We still need to do some work at home before we're ready to sell to new markets, helping growing countries provide the energy they need to meet the growing energy demands of their growing middle class, and in a more sustainable manner than they can do with their own local resources.
So we should start now.
In the meantime, we should at least become more aware of how energy is used and moved all around us and around the world.
And a good place to start is understanding how much energy we use to power our own lives at home.
Are you an efficiency superstar or energy super user? Follow the link provided to take a quick survey and find out.
It will take less than half the time you just spent listening to us.
Just to have a quick look at the screen, you can see that web page that shows energyiq.canadiangeographic.ca, and that is where you can do this energy user test as well too. So if we move along,
once we rule out.
No, let's just carry on. So you got a good outlook on what's happening in the energy sector in Canada and how our resources are so critical to and so ethical that they are. But as we look into the safety side of things, since it is a virtual safety fair, we want to talk about what we do at Energy Safety Canada directly. So one of our common features, we have a common safety orientation that helps to standardize what we're all doing in the industry so that everybody gets the same training and has the same basics to basically start off where they're going in the world of safety. So it's one standard and one ticket for everybody that's involved. So the common safety orientation it eliminates training and fatigue and minimizes repetitive training. It enables a mobile workforce and results in lots of savings for industry. It takes about 4 hours to complete it online or in class, but then this certificate will never expire. So it's something that will be with you for the rest of your life. And it incorporates the 10 life-saving rules, which we're trying to incorporate in all of our safety programs as we roll them out. So what are the 10 life-saving rules? Confined space, working at height, work authorization, energy isolation, line of fire, bypassing safety controls, driving, hot work, safe mechanical lifting, and fit for duty. As you can see, we also have an icon for each one, so that helps to identify what that pictogram is, and we can see what's going on. Now, we're not going to go through and talk about all these life-saving rules, but I'm going to talk about one of them in particular. So fit for duty. Fit for duty is very important because it's in order that we are in a state to perform the work safely. States that I will be physically and mentally in a state to perform my assigned duties. I will commit to not being under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And I will inform a supervisor immediately if myself or a coworker may be unfit to work. Additional guidance that we look at when we look at the fit for duty life-saving rule is that the workers or supervisors are in appropriate physical and mental state to conduct their assigned duties, physically capable of performing, being rested, having 7 to 9 hours of sleep at least, mentally alert, mind on task, able to effectively communicate to their supervisors and coworkers, and not under the influence of drugs and alcohol. I think the last, if I'm going to go back a couple screens here, and we can look at the fact we had, Thought I put it in there. Okay, maybe not. Okay, let's just move on. So working safely, the oil and gas industry is a leader in workplace safety, and extensive safety training is required for oil and gas workers. Our industry's goal is 0 injuries, 0 incidents. As well, we are leaders in innovation. So we have another video here put together from Petro LMI that will talk about some of the innovation that is happening in the industry. So we can, some of it you've already seen, but we're going to go through it again.
For an industry that is over 150 years old, you may be surprised just how innovative and high-tech Canada's oil and natural gas sector is. In fact, Canada is a world leader in innovation when it comes to producing the oil and natural gas we need to heat our homes, fuel our cars, and make the most of the household items we buy. And that's important because the world needs oil and natural gas now and into the future. With an ever-increasing population demanding more and more energy, fossil fuels aren't able to retire just yet. But we can find ways to produce cleaner energy from our hydrocarbon resources and reduce the environmental impact. How? Innovation. So, what does that innovation look like? Well, it looks like a lot of things, from the seemingly simple to the absolutely space-aged. Take the GHG SAT project, a satellite technology developed right here in Canada that measures greenhouse gas emissions more accurately than conventional on-the-ground methods. There's one of them flying around the Earth right now, collecting valuable real-time data that scientists will be able to use to help reduce emissions from activities like oil sands development. Back down on Earth, or maybe we should say back down in Earth, there's another cool technology that is actually preventing certain emissions from becoming emissions in the first place. Carbon capture and storage is a process where CO2 is captured during the heavy oil upgrading process, compressed into a liquid state, and stored safely deep underground. As of May 2019, a carbon capture and storage project in Alberta has captured and stored 4 million tons of CO2 since it became operational in 2015. That's equivalent to the annual emissions of about 1 million cars. But that's not all. There are also lots of process innovations on the ground and in the cloud that are helping Canada's oil and natural gas producers reduce their environmental footprint. From using artificial intelligence and big data to maximize efficiencies, to finding inventive ways to manage the resources used in energy production, and even teaching drilling rigs how to walk. There's no shortage of Canadian oil and natural gas innovation stories. To learn all about these stories and more, check out our Energy IQ innovation topics and see just how clever we Canucks can be. For an industry,
As we can see there's the Energy Innovation IQ test as well from that same website. So it's important to take time to analyze where you are and what you believe in. So when we look at the different types of jobs, we've talked about the safety, but the different types of jobs that are available. And like we said before, there's over 500,000 directly and indirectly jobs that relate to the oil and gas industry in Canada. In Saskatchewan, there's been over 10,000 people employed in 2020. There's a wide variety of jobs in the oil and gas sector, which from professional roles to operations and to business support. So there's lots of opportunity. Petro LMI provides lots of services, and Cheryl's going to expand a little bit on some of the things in the last couple slides here. But the labor market outlooks, the workforce demographics, and customized data and reports, and the occupation information and tools that are available to search for that career that you're looking for. Again, another important website along with Energy Safety Canada is careersinoilandgas.com, and there's lots of great information to help you through there. So whether you're interested in biological science, chemistry, geoscience, environment and sustainability, or government policy, regulatory, or stakeholder relations, there's a job out there for you in this industry. So oil and gas careers, again, here's a couple pictures that show some of the things that you can find on the web page to give you just a quick profile of what's happening there. So I'm going to get Cheryl to step in here, but I think these slides are going to be pertaining to her as we move forward.
Great, thank you, Arnold. Yes, as Arnold was saying, there is some great career information on the Careers in Oil and Gas.com website. There is also just some information on oil and gas, upstream, midstream, downstream, working in the industry and why oil and gas matters. There's a great career explorer, and I do believe the career directory has about 140 jobs listed. So it's a great tool to look for different things when you guys are moving out of high school and looking into the future.
Do you want me to start this little video?
Yeah, so on the careersinoilandgas.com site, just before Arnold plays the video, you can take a look at some oil and gas, what a work site may look like. There's a lot of different types of work and jobs being done in oil and gas. You can download the free apps on Apple, Google Play, or the Oculus VR headsets. The experience features the careers, innovation, and technologies of 7 different work sites in oil and gas. So get up close and see the careers and leading edge technologies that are transforming the Canadian energy industry. So Arnold, if you could play the video.
For more than a century, Canada has been producing oil and natural gas. Here's your chance to see what it's like, up close. Want to know more about careers in the energy industry? Visit careersinoilandgas.com to find out what's happening in the labor market.
And the other great link on careersinoilandgas.com is Experience the Energy, Take the Challenge. Play these games with Apo, the robot, to find out what oil and gas job he thinks you'd be good at. You are going to try your hand at drilling, adjust valves to maintain pressure on the oil and gas equipment, and send Apo into the field to look for hazards. So this next video is a trailer for the VR games. We hope it will get you excited to try the VR experience.
Experience the energy in a whole new way. Do you like working with big ideas, specialized machines, or doing work that is physical? Take the challenge to see how your skills align with 10 exciting careers in oil and gas. Test yourself to find out which occupations are the best fit for you in the Canadian energy industry. Available in both augmented and virtual reality, experience the energy. Experience the energy. Take the challenge is accessible for everyone. Download the Petro LMI app for free to your device through the Apple app or Google Play stores, or on your Oculus Go VR headset.
Okay, that's just great information. Thank you so much for sharing that, Cheryl. And again, that's like I say, this is the exciting part. I know a lot of you young people are into this virtual reality things, and there's a lot of great things that you can experiment, and then gives you a chance to really see if this is the career you want to be in. We are getting up to 30 minutes here in this presentation, and thank you for taking the time for joining us. And we wish you good luck in your future. And remember to check out our web pages at energysafetycanada.com and careersinoilandgas.com. Thank you very much for taking the time to experience what it would be like to work in the energy sector. Have a great day and have a great time choosing your career. Thank you.